Hello, good morning to everyone and welcome to this new webinar. My name is Cristian Palomanes. I'm the Director of Sales for the AGV project for Cojali USA. Today we're going to be talking about this T7 Series tractors, dealer level diagnostics for this particular New Holland model. Okay. As I said, first I would like to thank you, all of you guys, for your time and joining us this morning. My colleague Ignacio is going to be taking care of the chat window, so if you have any questions, just please make sure that you type it in, you use the chat window so we can go over those questions at the end of this presentation. Okay. The plan is to spend a bit more than between 20 and 30 minutes on this webinar, and basically the reason why we have choose this model, the T7 series, this New Holland tractor, is because of your request. Okay, when we start thinking about new webinars, new dealer level diagnostics to show the whole functionalities for new tractors, you guys, our Jaltest user, request or suggest us why don't do it about the New Holland T7 series. It seems it's a tractor that is having more and more demand out there in the market, and especially in the area of California. Okay, so let's start. Well, here in the screen, you can see how it looks, the main screen of the software for Jaltest. Okay, right now, of course, I have set up the options to work mainly with the AGV module, with the agricultural vehicles module, but we do also have the possibility, as you may know, to work with other modules as the CV, commercial vehicles, off-highway, yellow iron, so basically construction equipment, stationary engines, and so on. And now, as a new feature, we are going to be able to also add the marine software in this. Okay, so basically having a coverage for outboard, inboard, and jet ski vessels. Okay, so just for you to know, we can now add this module to the full software solution. Okay, also the marine module. Okay, so let's start working. Right now I have activated the simulation mode, so we're going to be able to pull out all the information for any particular vehicle in the market, even when we are not connected live to the vehicle. Okay, so let me come here to Jaltest link and select the communication mode. You all know that we do have two possibilities. We can work through USB or through Bluetooth. Okay, in this case, since I have the USB connected, I'm going to select the first option, USB. I run the connection test, and we can start working with the tool. Okay, so we go to the agricultural vehicles menu. Then we select manufacturer. In this case, going to be New Holland, and then we just need to come here and select the series. Okay, we have a bunch of different options. We can just type in here the series, the model name, or whatever we want to look for, or just come here and select manually the series T7, and then we just need to select exactly the right model that we are going to be working with. Okay, first thing we need to determine here is the tier of the vehicle that we're working with. Okay, in this case we can have three different possibilities. Let's say that. Okay, if we talk about the engine, could be an interim tier 4, a final tier 4, or even a tier 5, okay, which is the newest tractors for this T7 series New Holland tractors. Okay, then of course, depending also on the rest of the systems, for instance, transmission, we're going to have three different transmissions. Okay, we're going to have we're going to have the Rance common transmission, which is the semi power shift transmission. We're going to have the power common transmission, which is going to be for the full power shift transmission, and finally the CVT, okay, the continuously variable transmission, also named as auto common for New Holland. Okay, so let's start selecting one of the vehicles. For instance, this one, the final tier 4, stage 4. Okay, we click on the model. And now on this screen, you can see all the different systems that we cover for this particular tractor. Okay, today, as we don't have a lot of time, I was thinking that maybe focus, of course, first in the engine. Okay, we can have a look to this final tier 4, which is going to be pretty similar to the interim tier 4, and then have another look to the tier 5, the very new one, and the newest models for this T7 series New Holland tractors. And so we can compare both functionalities between both versions. And finally, we can go over and check the transmission, okay, transmission system, and finally the hydraulic system, okay. Those three, I would say, like, are the main ones, but of course, you can see here that we cover some other for these T7 series tractors, okay. So right now, what I'm gonna do is just select the systems that we wanna start scanning, and the software, the Jaltest software, is going to start looking for the right systems that we have on that particular vehicle that we are working with. Okay, so imagine that right now I just select engine, I select hydraulic systems, and the transmission. Okay, so here it is. For the engine, for instance, we check the engine. We can show you the connector. Where is the diagnostics connector in the tractor? And not only that, but also the pinout and the cable, the Jaltest connector that you need to use in order to connect to this New Holland tractor. Okay, we hit on connect. And now you're going to see the full diagnostics menus. Okay. I always say the same thing, but it's important to highlight this. It doesn't matter if we're working with this New Holland T7 series tractor, with a John Deere 8R, 6R, or even with the Caterpillar excavator. This menu is going to look always the same. Okay, so same menu categories, but of course we will find different functionalities depending on the vehicle that we are working with. Okay, so starting from the very beginning, we're going to have the diagnostic functionalities. Okay, we're going to have reading fault codes and clearing fault codes. Okay, so let's start over with the first one. Right now, the system is going to pull out some random fault codes that we do have on this this example that we are using right now, this New Holland T7 series tractor, final tier 4 engine. Okay. And so let's select one of them, for instance. Let's say that we want to look for more information about them. I don't know, anyone, like this one. Okay, this fault code, we can get freeze frame data. Okay, so basically the date, the hour of the last occurrence, and the priority for that code. Okay, we can check also components that could be related with that fault code. Okay, imagine, for instance, with this fault code, it's talking about AdBlue depth pressure is too low, so of course it's going to relate that fault code with the level and temperature sensor in the AdBlue depth tank. Okay, we can see more information for that component. Okay, so we can check the pinouts, we can check some other values that could be interesting for us: operating voltage, power supply, operating temperature, nominal current, so on. Okay. But even more important than that is going to be the wiring diagrams. Okay, so imagine that we know, because of this fault code, that sensor, that particular AdBlue pressure sensor or temperature sensor in this case, is not working. It's not working good. It's not performing right, and we need to change it. Okay, we need to replace the sensor. Then we need to know the schematics. Okay, so we come here to the wiring diagrams. And now we're going to have access to the full schematics of this tractor, okay, in the engine system. Again, this final tier 4 engine for the New Holland T7 series tractor. Okay, right now we are highlighting you here where is that particular temperature sensor located. So we showed you that it's connected on the pins 8, 31, and 39. Okay, so just accessing to with a double click here, we're going to see how it looks, the ECU. Okay. Where is it located on the engine block? And the pinouts. Okay, so we can easily realize where we need to go, where we need to connect the new sensor, the replacement, in the ECU in order to do the correct installation. Okay. This is only talking about that particular sensor, but of course, if we click on here, show component list, we can check for any other component on the tractor. Okay, so imagine that we want to look for any other sensor. We just type it in here. Okay, for instance, the fuel temperature sensor. Same thing. We're going to highlight it here. We're going to show you where is it located, even with pictures. Okay, some values, and most important than that is going to be the pinouts. Okay, where is it connected on the ECU? 12 and 59, for instance, for this one. Okay. A part of that information, we always provide you full code troubleshooting. Okay, we keep adding those step-by-step guides for most of the vehicles in the ag field, in the ag market. Okay, some of them are not ready yet, but you can be sure that they will. Okay, the engineering department is working a lot. They're working so hard to get all the repair guides available. Okay, right now, basically, the vehicles that we have well covered regarding the full code troubleshooting, those step-by-step guides are John Deere and the CNH Group tractors. Okay, so mainly New Holland and Case I8 tractors. Okay, so let me go back now and let's go over the rest of the functionalities. Okay, once we have already checked reading full codes, we can always clear those full codes. Okay, it's going to be a pretty straightforward process. Okay, you see right now, if we click on this check, they're going to be clear from the ECU, and it's as simple as that. Okay, and then some other functionalities that we do have for this engine, for this final tier 4 engine, we're going to be able to check system data. Okay, basically it's going to be information about the electronic control unit. Okay, who's the manufacturer, the control unit serial number, engine type, all that kind of information. And then some other information about operation data, okay, information about the life of the tractor, okay, which could be very useful, especially for those of you who are trying to buy a new, a used tractor, or you want to check some information about a used tractor. It's always good to check these menus here. Okay, we can check, for instance, imagine the engine load. You can come here and check the engine load through the last times. Okay. All right. So what else would we have here? Monitoring. Okay, that's gonna allow us to check live data information. Okay, so we can run the engine. Okay, and then we can draft the measurements that we are interested in. Imagine that we just need to check, or we just want to check the temperature and the pressure values. Okay, we select all of them, and we can check them on a list or in different formats. Okay, we can even grab them or use like clock weight to see them. Okay, so for instance, you want to see just another way to show it. We show like here optimal range. You see here with the green and with the red ones, the critical ones. Okay, and again for this engine, this T7 Series tractor final tier 4 engine, we do have up to 68 different measurements. Okay, 68 different values. All right. Not only display the live data selection on a list or in clocks, or even grab that information, we can also have these other system displays. For instance, for the fuel system, let's have a look to that one. Okay, which is pretty much the same information as we can check on the live data. Okay, we are now imagine running the engine, but just in a different way. I would say like more intuitive way to show the same information. Okay, that one, for instance, for the fuel system, but we have also for the exhaust gases system, or for the AdBlue, okay, the DAT module. Okay. And so let's go back to main menu again, activate components. What we can do here, for instance, we can do cylinder cutouts, engine speed test. We can activate the fan just to make sure that it's working properly. Same thing with the turbine, with the preheating, okay? Those are all the different components that we can activate just to make sure that everything is working as it should, okay? So imagine that you want to perform a cylinder cutout, okay? Just for you to have an idea, we always provide you first the information about the action you are about to do. Okay, we click on check, and now we give you initial conditions, okay, that you need to meet in order to be able to perform that particular actuation. You click on check, and you should be starting. So let's say that you select the cylinder 2 with the cylinder cutout. Okay, you can activate, disactivate the cylinders, and then you can even grab the information. And yeah, that's pretty much how easy it is to perform this kind of actuations functionalities through our software. Let's continue. System check-ins that we do have for this T7 series final tier 4. Okay, all those compression tests, engine brakes, cylinder tests, the VGT, we can check the variable geometry, turbocharger, and even going here to the AdBlue metering system. Okay, we will have a look to this later on another engine. Okay. We go back. Parameters we can change for this tractor, very important. It's going to be the injector coding. Okay, we can change and codify the injectors for these New Holland tractors, as well as the OEM manufacturer offers that capability. Okay, and then finally, I would say maintenance, very important options. Okay, the maintenance options for these New Holland tractors, and I want to talk about this one here, startups counter restart. Okay, that functionality is really demanded for New Holland tractors because, well, those tractors, when they have some kind of problems with the ECR, with the SCR, sorry, they get into the power derate mode. Okay, that means that you can only run the engine for 30 seconds and then it's going to shut down. Okay, with this test, with this maintenance test here, okay, we can just restart the startups counter. So what it's going to allow us is to run the engine, to drive the vehicle, the tractor in this case, for 30 minutes. You see it here. Here basically displays the whole functionality. So it's going to allow us to run the engine for 30 minutes, which is going to allow us to take the tractor maybe from the middle of the field to a shop so we can fix it, and then of course keep working with the tractor. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to have this functionality. Only the OEM software and Jaltest can provide you this particular action. Okay, well, just important to be said that after you perform this maintenance actuation, the startups can't restart, you're gonna need to, of course, fix the tractor. You're gonna need to solve the issues with the fault codes. Okay, and after you're done with that, okay, you're gonna need to come here. Let me show you. We're gonna need to come here to, no, it's not here, I believe it's here. Yeah, to system settings and do a verification of the SCR system fault repair. That is, as I said, only after we have repaired, we have fixed that fault code. Okay, we did before the restarting of the counter, so we can run the engine. But then we need to come here and do this verification of the SCR. Okay, we perform that, and then we're gonna be all good, all set to keep working with the tractor without any problem. Okay. Basically, I think, what else would we have here? Okay, of course, we have troubleshooting by symptoms. Okay, let me go back to the menu so you can see the full picture. Okay, and then some other options. We have diagrams, I already showed you. We have vehicle service data. Okay, that's going to be basically maintenance. Okay, maintenance categories. Okay, imagine that you want to check the maintenance that you need to do in your tractor when you reach the 18 hours working, okay, with that tractor. Okay, so you'll see for the engine, those are going to be the different maintenance activations that you need to perform. Those for the hydraulic system or for the transmission. Okay, then vehicle technical data. That's going to be well, as I said, technical data for that particular T7 Series tractor. Okay, and it's going to allow us to check different categories of technical information. For instance, we're going to be able to check the tightening torques. Okay, tightening torques, we can come here to the cylinder heads, to the rocker arm, and check all that information, which is pretty useful for the technicians. Okay, for instance, that one you see here, the cylinder head, so they just need to follow those plans, those schematics, in order to know the tightening torques that they need to reach for the installation of the cylinder heads. Okay, then we do have troubleshooting by symptoms. Okay, it could happen that a user, a tractor owner, is having some issues with the tractor, but is not getting a fault code. He has a symptom, for instance, loss of engine power or black smoke, or the engine does not start. Okay, we just click on the symptom, and we're gonna see the step-by-step guide on how to fix it, or how they can, you know, go over this this damage and check how to solve it. Okay, this is pretty basic information for the technicians, but it's always good to have it. So in case they're missing some specific information or checking, they can go over that. Okay. So, and then finally, releases and procedures. Okay, that's going to be information that we collect from the manufacturer. Okay, from the repair manuals, and we just put it here. We share with all our Jaltest users or our Jaltest clients. Okay, in this case, we do have, for instance, the technical release, the TSVs for the change, the AdBlue, and the depth module filters. Okay, again, same thing, step-by-step guide on how to fix it. Okay. So that's pretty much everything we do have for this New Holland T7 Series tractor. And remember, we were talking about an engine which was a tier 4, final tier 4 engine, okay? Remember I said that these are pretty similar to the interim tier 4. We don't have that time to get into that engine, but I do want to show you guys what is different in case you have a T7 series tractor, but you do have a tier 5. Okay, one of the newest T7 series tractors. Okay, so we go back here. Let me go back home. We select same thing, agricultural vehicles. We come here to New Holland. Remember, we did this, that we select the T7 series. But in this case, we're gonna go and check the final, the tier 5, sorry, the tier 5 engine. Okay, we select that particular engine. We want to work with the engine only. Same thing, we show you the connector. Where is it located in the tractor, the connector you need to use. We hit on connect, and pretty much we're gonna have exactly, well, of course, we're gonna have the same menu, same kind of functionalities, but I wanna show you something different, okay? First, this needs to be said that we just add these tier 5 engines for New Holland tractors in the last version of the software, okay? So that means the one that we just released in February, the 21.1 version of the software, okay? That's how we improve the software through these free updates that we release every 4 months, okay? So that means 3 per year, okay? So basically what is new here is if we come to the maintenance, we're gonna see this regeneration of the SCR catalytic converter. Okay, that's new. We didn't have that for the final tier 4 engine. Maybe you didn't see that option before in maintenance, but now we have added that functionality for the tier 5 engines. Okay, basically it's going to be a 45 minutes region. Okay, just to get the particular filter cleaned. Okay, the reason why they call it with this name in New Holland, the SCR, the regeneration of the SCR catalytic converter, and not a reading of the DPF, of the diesel particulate filter, is because they're integrated together in New Holland. Okay, so that's the reason why it's not called regeneration of the DPF. Okay. What else? Also here in maintenance, we do have those options. We did have those options for the final tier 4 as well, but in case you want to see it, we can replace those components. Okay, imagine that you need to replace I don't know, the NOx sensors. Okay, or the booster pressure sensor. You are going to need to do this maintenance option to reset, to put the values on 0, so you can keep using those sensors if you bought a used one, or just to install a new one. Okay, you can do that. So that's pretty much basically the difference between final tier 4 and tier 5. That now for tier 5, because of the technology of those engines, we do have the possibility to do the reading for those engines. Okay, and now, since the time is flying and we're running out of time, let me go and have a look to the transmission. So let's go back again. Okay, let's select now different transmission. For instance, let's go back to a final tier 4 and let's see a power command transmission. So let me look here. I'm typing. It's gonna be easier. So I got here final tier 4. You see here, for instance, power command transmission on a final tier 4 engine. Okay. So now I just select the transmission. That's the system I want to show you now. Okay. We hit on connect. And you see that the system software is asking me for the last 7 digits of the chassis number or the VIN number for this tractor, okay? Right now, since we are in the simulation mode, I don't have to, but in case you perform this actuation with your real vehicle, you're gonna need to check that VIN number and just select the number, okay? So we skip that step and we get to the process that we can do the diagnosis of the transmission, okay? Let me go and let me show you something else here because oh, of course, when we talk about transmissions, I would say that the most important thing we can perform is going to be the calibration. So let me show you how we can do this. Okay, this was the one that I want to show it to you. Here it is. Okay, so it was on the armrest variant for this T7 series. Okay, we select here the transmission. Okay, we connect to the transmission, and as I showed you before, we have the possibility not only to do the, of course, reading the fault codes, clearing the fault codes, check the wiring diagrams, check values for the transmission. We can do all of that. Okay, you see, for instance, the free swing data, the priority, the date of the and the hour of the last occurrence, as I showed you before, components related with that fault code. Okay, with values, pictures, locations, pinouts, okay? On the schematics, we can check where are they connected on the ECU and the electronic control system, in this case for the transmission, exactly the same as I showed you before for the engine. We do have the same for the transmission, okay? We showed you the ECU very quick, but where I wanna go is just to show you the possibility to calibrate the transmission, okay, which, as I said, is going to be the main functionality that you can perform with the New Holland, okay. Basically, for this New Holland, when we click on calibration, transmission calibration, we're going to be able to follow the technical release, okay. It's going to be a technical release that we just need to follow, okay, and then we're going to be able to perform the transmission calibration. Okay, that's a really important actuation. Again, dealer level functionality for New Holland. Okay, so exactly the same information that you can have from the OEM, from New Holland in this case, we can provide you same information. Okay, in this case, it's a manual calibration, so we just give you all the different steps on how to do it. What you need to do on the dashboard and on the tractor controls to perform this transmission calibration. Okay. Apart of that, here in the transmission, we do have some other options. Okay, as you may see here, like actuating components. Okay, for the transmission. Okay, we can display or modify parameters. Okay, for instance, we can. This is pretty interesting too. The filling time. Okay, in case we want to set up or to regulate the how aggressive is the clutch, the acceleration of the vehicle. We can regulate that here, and that's for the transmission. Okay. What else? Again, we are running out of time, but let me finish then with the hydraulics. Okay. Remember, we were talking that we're gonna look over the 3 main systems for these New Holland tractors, which is the engine, the transmission, and the hydraulics. Of course, we do have some more, but we are not going to have the time to show you the dealer level diagnostics for all of them. Okay, but let's have a look now to the hydraulics, and for that, let's choose a different engine so you can see that we cover all of the different variants. Okay, so again, agricultural vehicles, New Holland, and in this case, we're going to pick an engine with a CVT transmission, with a continuously variable transmission, okay? Final tier 4 engine, for instance. So let's come here to T7 series. Okay, we come here to T7 series CVT engine, final tier 4. I click on that. And now, instead of looking for the engine or the transmission, we're gonna go and check the hydraulics. Okay, here in the hydraulics, we do have 2 different possibilities. We have the heat control. Okay, for the rear hydraulic lift, we can hit on connect. And let me skip this, or let me type it in here the VIN number. I do have one, for instance. So let me type in the last 7 digits, for instance, of a tractor that we were working a few months ago. Click on check. And now we access to the full diagnostics menu. Again, I'm not gonna go over the main ones, reading fault codes, clear fault codes, schematics, information about the fault codes, live data selection. No, I don't wanna see that. But basically what is new for this system, for this hydraulic lift, okay, on the tractor. You see here, we're going to be able to display and modify some parameters, activate others, and the most important one is going to be the calibration of the real lift. Okay, we have it. We can do that with Jaltest. Okay, we give you initial conditions, instructions, and everything you need to follow in order to do the calibration of the hydraulic lift. Okay, so here we're going to pull up the technical release. There you go, with all the different steps that you need to follow. Again, this is a manual calibration, so the different steps that they need to follow in order to get the real lift calibrated. Okay, and finally, also talking about hydraulics, not the real lift, but the spool box. So let's go back. Okay, and let's have a look now to this other system, remote hydraulic controller. We connect to that one. Okay. And that's where we are going to have access to the spool valves in case we want to replace one, in case we want to just repair one and then get it installed again, or in case we just want to add a new one. This is the system where we need to come. Okay, of course, reading fault codes, clear fault codes, system data, monitoring, activate components, parameters. But then if we click on here on calibration, we're going to be able to calibrate those spool valves. Or here in parameters, we're going to be able to check the number of the installed auxiliary hydraulic valves, or even add more if we want to. Okay, imagine for instance that we do have 3 spool valves installed on a tractor. Okay, but I want to add a 4th one. I click on here and we're going to set up this parameter, the configuration of the tractor, to have 4 spool valves. Okay, and so what else can I show you here? That was pretty much everything. Okay, the other one is important functionality is going to be this one, the spool valve identification code. That's in case that we imagine that we need to replace a spool valve and we want to use a unused one, move one from another tractor to this present tractor. We can do that. Okay, we just need to click on here, check the identification code, and set up the new code for the one that we want to install on the tractor, and we can do that through Jaltest. Okay, which is pretty useful as well. So I think that's pretty much everything. I promise you only, well, between 20 and 30 minutes. Finally, it's going to be a bit more than 30, but I guess that's a good taste, a good good example on what we can do for this New Holland T7 Series tractor. Okay, depending if it's a final tier 4, an interim tier 4, or even a tier 5, you see that we're going to have full coverage. Of course, different capabilities between the different systems, okay? And the same thing with the transmission, that remember I showed you the runs common transmission, the power common transmission, or even the CVT, what New Holland calls the auto common transmission. We cover all of them, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this presentation, this webinar about this New Holland T7 Series tractors. Please, of course, if you have any questions, I'm sure Ignacio, my colleague Ignacio, already replied some of them through the chat window. But in case you have others, remember you can always reach us on our customer support phone number, through email, or even going to the website jaltest.com or cojaliusa.com, where you're going to find all the information. Okay. And yeah, I think that should be all. Thank you very much for attending again, and have a great day.